passionate and ever energetic Division F Director, DTM Deepa Surendran. Without much delay, let me welcome our Division F Director, DTM Deepa Surendran. Over to you, DTM Deepa.
Thank you, Jinesh, for this wonderful introduction about the session. And now we are in an era of learning and unlearning. Why unlearning? Because see, now so many changes happened last 2-3 months. We had planned so many education sessions, but because of our shift to some other focus, and that too because of a small creature which suddenly came into our life, we had to keep away our plan, schedules, and then start focusing on something else. And that's how we came into this particular platform of online learning. So we unlearned something and started again back to track on a different platform. So just imagine, just before 3-4 months, it was not this easy to learn, to teach, and listen to our eminent speakers of today, such as DTM Dharmajan, DTM Shabil, Toastmaster Mansi, and Toastmaster Ashish on Tall Tales. What they have in their folder to teach us, that we are eager to listen today, as Jinesh said. Now, learning to unlearning is not forgetting what we learned. It is understanding what we learned and whether it is applicable at this point of time, and then apply our perspectives before implementing or following it. So let's start doing that particular activity, learn, unlearn, relearn, and then become a better person. Toastmasters is giving that particular platform for us to experiment. And today we are in that experimenting level or experimenting stage on the screen. And to take this particular education series, today's 4 education sessions, to the next level, we have our area director-elect, our Division F education team active member, Toastmaster Rehana here. Let me just mention about our area assistant division director, whose persistent efforts is making this particular session possible. That is none other than our own division director-elect, DTM Dinesh. Big round of applause to him. And without much ado, let me hand over the stage or the screen to our MC of today, Toastmaster Rehana. Toastmaster Rehana, over to you. Thank you.
We learn in the moments of enjoyment. Good evening, our Division Director DTM Deepa, Division Direct-elect DTM Dinesh, other DTMs, presenters, and the learners. The quote I mentioned is by none other than our founder, Dr. Ralph C. Smedley. And as a Toastmaster, our new year is on July 1st. And as our SAA mentioned in the beginning, we are regular learners. Every day we learn something. So for this new year, the goal I have for the next Toastmaster year to learn by enjoying. My mentors always complain, I don't smile while speaking. So that is my goal with this. So in today's sessions, we have 4 education sessions, and to lead the first session, we have a Toastmaster with 2 years of experience, and he is interested in exploring different medias of communication, and he likes to use the tall tales in the humorous speeches because he thinks it adds a surprise value. And he is the current assistant area director, PQD elect for Area 52. Before I announce who is that, I am just putting a link in the chat box for, it's a survey for all of you to fill, which is used for the later education session. So please visit the survey and fill your inputs. So the first education session about whom I was talking about is none other than Toastmaster Ashish Gokhale, and he will be telling us about tall tales. Let us welcome Toastmaster Ashish Gokhale. The screen is yours.
Thank you so much, Raina. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, great. First of all, I mean, just a request, if people who are comfortable can switch on their video. I find it very disconcerting to see just a few faces. In Zoom, I strongly believe the amount of interest people have in your speech is inversely proportional to the number of people who have switched on the videos. So great. And if you're cooking, you're having dinner, please feel free. Please again, forgive me. I'm slightly in a grumpy mood, you know. I just had a quarrel with my wife. So typical results of a lockdown. And actually, it reminded me of something which happened about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was preparing for my Toastmasters project with this fat CC manuals. People who are old-time Toastmasters might remember you had this fat CC manuals where you used to prepare for your project. And I had a similar quarrel with my wife. That quarrel turned into argument. That argument broke into a fight. And my wife, just out of anger, she got hold of that CC manual. You and your Toastmasters! Throw it. Fortunately, it missed me. But unfortunately, it hit my iPhone. And that iPhone broke into millions of pieces. More than what my heart broke into. I was devastated when my iPhone broke. I told, you are fed up of my Toastmasters? Okay, I quit Toastmasters from today. I called up my club president. She was more devastated than me. Ashish, you're the pillar of our Toastmasters club. How can you quit it? I said, no, enough is enough. Soon the area director called, the division director called, the district director called. Ashish, you're the pillar of District 105. How can you quit Toastmasters? No, I was not willing to budge. This was escalated to the Toastmasters International Headquarters. The TMI president called me, Ashish, what's your problem? I said, my iPhone is broken because of this CC manual. Do you know how much damage this CC manual is doing to the entire Toastmasters fraternity? He said, okay, let me get back to you. And lo behold, 2 weeks after that, I got a call from our TMI president. Ashish, we have done a research of about 6,300 Toastmasters who have quit from the past 1 year. And we have found reasons are linked to this big fat TT manual. We'll do something about it. And that is why you have got this online pathways. So somewhere you should thank me that because of my fight with my wife, you guys have got the new online pathways. So what are you guys thinking? Come on, what are you guys thinking? This guy is kidding. This guy is kidding. This guy is joking. This guy is... It's okay. You can keep your mics on. It's fine. I mean, let's have it interactive. Otherwise, I don't have any presentation or any slides to present. That's the beauty of this.
Yeah, please fight every day, sir. Please fight every day for us.
Please fight.
Please fight with your wife.
I don't have so many iPhones, fortunately or unfortunately, to break and then raise it to the TMI headquarters. So, I won't be surprised if most of you have a reaction like, is this guy kidding? Is this guy joking? Maybe is this guy drunk? You know, so these are precisely the reaction when you should expect when you give a tall tale. Now, by Toastmasters definition, a tall tale is something which is an exaggerated story around an improbable event which is based on a particular theme or a plot. Now, there are few things which you need to remember when you talk of a tall. In a Toastmasters parlance, it's a 3 to 5 minute speech in a Toastmasters tall tale contest. But again, my aim today is not to talk so much about the contest, but why you should imbibe tall tales in your daily speech. Because as DTM Rana said initially, it adds value to your, especially your humorous and your table topics. I feel tall tales are a brilliant way of responding. So what do you exactly mean by, a tall tale is a story. So it is not something which is like one-liner anecdotes from WhatsApp, or, you get a lot of these one-liners or small short bits and pieces. It's not a combination of small bits and pieces of jokes. It's a story. It's a story with a character. Preferably the character is you. Preferably there is a conflict which you're resolving by something which is improbable. Now here, the word improbable is very important. Let's take an example. I talked about, many of you might be thinking, this guy's kidding. Precisely, remember when you're kids, most of us have indulged in tall tales. Kids are the most brilliant exponents of tall tales. I'll give an example. In December, we went to a jungle safari. We were going in a jeep. We stopped. There was a tiger which came. The tiger passed our path. And when it came in front of us, it stopped for a moment. It looked at us in the eye and it went away. I came back. My friends asked, Ashish, how was the safari? I said, look, when we were going at this one point, we stopped. The tiger came. The tiger saw us. The tiger passed away. So, interesting? Yeah, it is interesting, right? But is it possible? Absolutely. It's in the zone of what I call, it's in the zone of possibility. It is something which is very believable, very possible. So the amount of interest is there, but limited. My 8-year-old daughter, she met her friends. They asked her, how was your safari? She said, we were going on this jeep. Suddenly we saw a big tiger walking in front of us. The tiger growled. I felt as if the earth was shaking. The trees were kind of subdued. The tiger stopped, stared at us, growled louder. My father looked at the tiger. He got down from the jeep. He went towards the tiger. The tiger growled and stood up. My father looked at the tiger eye to eye. The tiger suddenly slouched. My father patted the tiger. The tiger meowed, licked my father, and he went off. Now, this is something which is possible. But is it something which is impossible? Theoretically it is possible, but something which is highly improbable. My daughter didn't say that, look, we were going on a jeep, a dinosaur came, a dinosaur growled, my father patted the dinosaur and the dinosaur went away. That would be something impossible. She said in a way which is highly interesting, where at least there are some parents, if when kids would have come back to their parents, the parents would have, Ashish, what was your daughter saying? You did something like this? Maybe 1 out of 100 would at least say that. There would be something somewhere. Is this something happened? So that is what I call a tall tale has to be in that zone of improbability. Something which is possible theoretically, but highly improbable. That is why the word in a tall tale, if you see the definition, it's improbable. Tall tale is not a fairy tale. So it's very difficult to make a tall tale work if you go into the zone of fairies and flying carpets or this and that, which goes more into the domain of fairy tales. The second thing in a tall tale, very important, is look how we started. My daughter went into a zone which was the improbable zone, but she started with something which was absolutely possible, a routine instance. We were going in a jeep on a safari. So the key in a tall tale is you start your audience from something which is highly routine, highly possible, and take them slowly into the zone of improbability, where they, at some point of time, they start wondering, oh, what is this? What is this? What is this? And the end reaction is something which is completely unexpected. Like my initial speech, which I gave, a short tall tale, I started with something which is routine, hopefully, fighting with your wife, fighting with your spouse, and went into something slowly escalating, and went into something which is absolutely improbable. Theoretically, what I said is still possible. But at some point, you would have thought, okay, division director, okay, district director, maybe Ashish is great. TMI International, no, this is something. So at some point, I went into this zone where your mind went into this improbability zone. So you start from the zone of possibility and slowly take into zone of improbability, where the interest is at a maximum, and give that final twist. But the moment there is a diminishing law of returns, if you go too much beyond the zone of improbability, it goes into the impossibility and maybe the interest wanes. So that is the trick in tall tales, the balance between the improbable and impossible. I'll give you one more example. Let's do kind of something interactive. Let's say we have a Division F training session next round 3. I make a statement, say our district director is going to attend the training session. Is this something which is possible? It's something possible. So if I make this statement, okay, our district director is going to attend the next round of knowledge session. Yeah, you would say, okay, he's a district director, he might come. If I tell you our TMI president is going to come, is that possible?
Yes.
Possible. Again, maybe slightly more improbable, slightly less possible, but possible. It's in the zone of possibility, right? So can anyone tell me what is something which is improbable?
Donald Trump is going to listen to this.
Brilliant. President Donald Trump is attending our next Toastmasters meeting. Theoretically possible? Let's make a tall tale right now out of this. Theoretically possible?
Yes.
Theoretically possible. What is something impossible?
Mahatma Gandhi will attend the meeting.
Mahatma Gandhi, Einstein is attending our next Toastmasters meeting. That is something which is completely impossible. So suppose, instead of Donald Trump, let's take Narendra Modi. I am an Indian, so it's easy for me to work out a tall tale, but you can work out, anything. Let's take an example. I want an outcome to happen that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to attend my Toastmaster Club's meeting next time. Okay. So remember I told you, this is the fine balance. This is the improbability. So I start something which is in the zone of possibility. Let's say I start, President Narendra Modi and me, we are from the same village in India. Our families are friends for generations. Possible? Reasonably possible. There's nothing to be surprised. Somebody would be from his village. Every time he comes to Dubai, he definitely gets in touch with me. Possible. Last time he came to Dubai, he called me, Ashish, I'm tired of these diplomatic engagements. Can we meet up for a coffee? I said, no, Modi ji. I have to give my speech in my Toastmasters Club. He asked, what is this Toastmasters Club? I told, this is this amazing forum for public speaking. Ashish, I want to learn more about public speaking. It will help me in my job. I told him, why don't you attend our Toastmasters Club meeting? He said, no, but this security and all this are too much of issues. So let's take it up next time. 3 months back, I called up to Narendra Modi ji. I told him, Modi ji, now our Toastmaster Club meetings are online. So why don't you just take time and attend one of our meetings? And friends, that is why Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to attend our next Toastmaster Club meeting. So how it works? started from something which is extremely a routine possible event. You can do something anywhere. You can go to the President Donald Trump or any. It's how you tell the. I mean, how do you fabricate something with complete logical reasoning? That is what the more logical your reasoning and your build up to the final climax is, the better the tall tale works. So that's in summary. I think we have about a minute left. So I'll not, So I'll not spend much time on that. We have 3 more sessions. So again, in summary, tall tale is something which is in the zone of improbability. The more you tread that line between improbable and impossible, you avoid going there, the better your tall tale will work. The tall tale is something which starts from a strong area, which is very routine, very possible. For example, your car broke down on Sheikh Zayed Road. You met Sheikh Hamdan. He asked you why your car has broken. You said, no, because I was speeding a lot. I was under a lot of pressure. Maybe that's why Sheikh Zayed Road has become 100 speed limit. Anything, you can do anything to anywhere, This is how you start with something which is very routine and go into something which is improbable and give that final climax to the audience. The next thing, I really feel right from the beginning, the best part of all the 4, at least for me personally, from all the 4 Toastmaster, the table topics, international speech, humorous, tall tales, for me, I find it the best and enjoyable writing a tall tale, because your mind is completely free. There is nothing like you have to give a message or you have to give anything. It's just a story which your mind can just start building. So please have tall tale sessions in your clubs, and finally use them in humorous table topics or maybe even an international speech to add that element of surprise and fun in your speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Raina. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashish. We all know that logic can take us from A to B, but imagination can take us anywhere, and Toastmaster Ashish clearly told us how we can take our imagination. And just a quick reminder to fill the survey, which I posted in the chat box. Next, we have a Toastmaster who is a Toastmaster for last 4 years and has been held several positions in her club, a VP membership, VP education, and SAA, and who believes mentoring is a must in all aspects of life, whether it is personal, professional, in Toastmasters. And she's a great advocate, and she tries to find out time to mentor young engineers and inspire them to take positions in different engineering and technological areas. So let us welcome Toastmaster Manasi to give us a session on mentoring. Toastmaster Manasi, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raina. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Yeah, you guys are able to see my screen?
No.
No, not yet.
How about now?
No.
No, you have not started sharing.
I have actually. Let me reshare. Sorry.
Yes, now. Your screen is there.
We see your desktop, not the presentation. Yeah.
See my desktop. Okay. Is it still the desktop, or you can see a slide?
We can see, yeah, not sure whether it's a slide or image, a quote, but.
Yeah, that's the quote, yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry for that technical issues, okay. Getting the most of our life isn't about how much you keep for yourself, but how much you pour into the other. a very beautiful quote from David Stafford. And one of the best ways to do that is mentoring. Odysseus in Greek mythology, when he left for the Trojan War fight, he entrusted the care of his son, who is very dear friend, Telemachus, whose name was Mentor. And thus the term mentor was born. Used as a noun, mentor means a wise, trusted guide, advisor, or a teacher. What exactly mentoring means? Well, mentoring is something like having a mentor or not having a mentor, similar to driving a car in a new city with Google Maps or without Google Maps. A mentor is going to help you accelerate your learning, shorten the time it takes you to acquire that new speaking or leadership skill, or guide you to that optimal path to reach your objectives. In case you go to the wrong path, a mentor is going to help you go back to your correct path. And in case you don't have a mentor, you're going to miss out on all these benefits. A mentor is going to give you direction. He's going to train you, support you, motivate you, give you goals, give you objectives, and the path to achieve that goal successfully. Now, Toastmasters define a mentor who takes personal interest, helps you, coaches you, is a role model himself, offers his own knowledge, insight, and perspective and wisdom. He helps you to become more successful. Mentors can be found anywhere, not just Toastmasters. Think about your work, your education. Just for a moment, think about 2 people in your life who have been mentors for you. Are you able to name such 2 people? Anyone in the meeting can just come up with 2 people who were mentors in their life. In case you can't think of anyone, then now is the best time to get some mentors. And Toastmasters is the best platform for you to get the mentors. Well, why do you need mentors? How is it going to help? So having a mentor is going to help the mentees, of course, is going to help the mentors, and is going to help the club. I'll walk you through on how it's going to help the mentees first. Now, a lot of the new programs join the club because they need help on maybe speaking or maybe leadership skill, because that's going to help them advance their career. And they expect the Toastmaster club to solve their problems. So the mentorship program is going to help the mentees learn the program, be aware with the pathways program, the club role meetings, the different club officer roles, the opportunities that he's going to get through the membership. The mentorship program also helps the mentees to learn more about the club, its activities within the meeting as well as outside the meeting. So when it comes to different district speech contests, the debate contests, different activities within and outside the club. Mentors also help them to participate, to enjoy into other activities, becoming more involved in the club activities. Mentors familiarize the new members with the resources available to them and coach them with their speeches, enabling the new members to advance faster. Now, the mentorship program doesn't just help the mentees, it helps the mentors as well. What is it in for the mentors? So mentors often learn from their mentees. So I am a mentor for 10 students who are just maybe in the 3rd or the last year. But trust me, when I speak to them, oh my God, what fresh perspective I get from them. The millennials these days have so much of energy and so much of views and great ideas. As Toastmaster Dinesh had said, the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. Mentoring is the best way of learning. Mentoring helps you remain productive because in that way you can make use of your Toastmaster knowledge and skills for someone else as well. And much can be said for the pleasure we receive for helping someone else. Not only we get confirmation of our own skills, but we also feel good about ourselves, right? When we help someone else achieve what they are looking for. And of course, you earn the gratitude and the recognition of the mentee. Now, what does this mentorship program do for the club? Have you heard the mentors who are not coming regularly or who want to kind of leave the club saying, you know, I cannot find time for Toastmasters? What they actually mean is they cannot prioritize Toastmasters in their life. Maybe because they're not learning much from the club or they're not finding enough value from the club. Now, what can be done so that the Toastmaster program adds value for them is by assigning a mentor who's going to keep track on how the team member is doing, how they're improving, and how they can have value from the Toastmaster club. If we want our club to be full of active, involved, and satisfied members, mentorship program is a way to go. Club members that encourage members to mentor one another have more members. In fact, they have more satisfied members because members continue to learn, grow, be involved in the club activities. And of course, when members are satisfied, they are going to stay in the club more longer. Now, let's say you have decided you want to become a mentor. How do you know if you're ready to be a mentor? What are the qualities a mentor should be having? Well, the first and most important quality is to be available. You need to spend time, some dedicated time with your mentee, at least 15 minutes or more each week. And when it's a new member, maybe initially some extra time. But dedicate that time for the mentee. Do not ghost on the mentee. Be patient. People learn at different speeds. You need to be patient and provide the guidance to different mentees accordingly. Be sensitive. Be loyal and do not betray the mentee's confidence. Be respectful. Be flexible. Everything doesn't go according to the plan, and do not get upset if the mentees make decisions that you don't agree upon. Your role as a mentor is to guide them and to coach them, not to tell them do this, don't do that. Be supportive. Show your pride in your club on what it has done and what it can do for the members. Be knowledgeable. Before you can help someone, be familiar yourself. You need to know how the club operates, the educational program, the Toastmaster International organization itself. You should have given at least few speeches for you to understand how Toastmaster program works, for you to give that knowledge to a mentee. Of course, you need to be confident, self-assured, friendly. Another important quality is to be a good listener. Simply listening without talking to others, without taking on any other person's problems, can be of great help to them. Just listening, you can help the mentees sort a lot of things out. And lastly, the concern for others. You must genuinely care for them. Only when you genuinely care for them, you're going to truly be able to help them. It's not just the mentors that need to have some qualities. Toastmaster recommends mentees should also have some responsibility and obligations as well. To receive that maximum benefit from the relationship, mentees must be eager to learn, willing to take on new challenges. They need to be receptive. They should be open to feedback. View this as an opportunity to improvise on themselves. Be open to new ideas. Mentees should be willing to see things from a different perspective. They need to be loyal. Do not violate the mentor's confidence or trust. And lastly, be grateful. Appreciate what the mentors are giving to them. So we've learned about how mentorship program helps the mentees, the mentors, and the club. The qualities that a mentor should have and the qualities that a mentee should have. What next? Well, there are some steps that Toastmaster guides how the first meeting the mentor should help the mentee, what they need to do in the next meeting, and what they need to do over the time. First and foremost, in the first meeting, sit with the new member. Explain the various parts of the meeting. How does the meeting start? What is the conundrum that needs to be followed? What is a table topic session? What are evaluations? Answer any questions that the mentee might have. Orient the new member with the club custom and procedure. If you have any special awards or events in that meeting, explain them beforehand to him so that he understands and gets more value from it. Explain how to sign up. Ask the Vice President of Education to schedule a mentee's icebreaker as soon as possible and encourage the member to start preparing for his speech. Help that mentee for the icebreaker. See, the first speech is always the most difficult one. Why? Because you're first of all uncomfortable for public speaking itself. And to speak in front of relative strangers is more difficult. So it's your job to help the mentee overcome his fears. Discuss various speech ideas with them, offer suggestions. Listen to the mentee first, give them feedback. Let them practice more. See if they've incorporated your feedback. What do you do in the next meeting? Well, now the new member is very much familiar on what happens in the Toastmaster meeting. Make him aware of the resources that Toastmasters has to offer. Walk him through the Toastmaster site. Tell him where all the pathway resources are, how we can use them, how we can make use of the digital platform. Explain the different club officers' role and information on who to reach out in case he has any more questions. Always remember to provide constructive criticism. Feedback is always welcome. Put it in a more constructive manner. Explain the responsibilities. So membership is not just about giving speeches and getting evaluations. It is also about committing of helping the club and the other members. Help with the next speeches and the other assignments. So whenever a member gives a speech, be sure you attend that speech. You listen not only to his speech, but also to his evaluation, so that you can help the mentee incorporate that evaluation in his next speech. Also start assigning mentees some other roles so that they are more involved in the club activities. Now, over the time, you can tell how the member is benefiting from the program. Invite the mentee to the other meetings, to the other events, apart from the regular meetings. Acknowledge that progress. Explain the officer duties. Explain the speech contest. And as I mentioned, describe the Toastmaster organization itself, how the structure is, how the website is, how the digital resources are. And there's always an extra step you can take. Always highlight the key achievements in the journey so far. Be a role model to them. Keep on challenging themselves all the time. During your regular sync-ups, provide regular feedback. Track the progress regularly. See, mentoring is not just about cloning. It is creating. Don't try to make the mentee as your replica. Listen to them, understand their style, and help them polish their style instead of pushing your style onto them. Also, keep yourself updated. If you want to mentor someone today, you need to familiarize yourself with pathways. You need to enroll yourself in pathways and experience that yourself to help somebody else. So always remember to keep yourself updated. Just to give a glimpse, we have a Pathways mentor program, which you can actually enroll for, which it involves completing the level 2 Introduction to Toastmaster mentoring project. You need to complete a self-assessment, mentor a program for your club with one of their projects, and mentor someone in Toastmasters or even outside for a period of 6 months. And remember, this mentor-mentee relationship is not for lifetime. It has a finite time. You help a mentee achieve their goals and move on. Find new mentees you can share your knowledge with, and the mentees who become knowledgeable can become mentors themselves. The idea about Toastmaster mentorship program is to experience the Toastmaster flavor themselves, learn as much as possible, and benefit the skills of the mentor, and then share those benefits with someone else by becoming a mentor. Always remember, the ladder of your success is actually a network of interlocking hands. And those who want to move upwards, the next step you're going to reach with a network of other hands. And those other hands are going to be of mentors. For you to become more successful in Toastmasters faster and more efficiently, look for a mentor today. And if you're already experienced and skilled, then look for the mentees today. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manasi, to make us understand how the mentorship program, especially in Toastmasters, how it is benefiting two ways for the mentees and at the same time mentors. And mentors, from my experience, they always foresee and they always push us to reach where we thought we will never reach. Thanks a lot. And before our next session, please attempt the survey because the next session is based on that survey. And to take the next session about script writing and selection of topic, we have a distinguished Toastmaster who is in Toastmasters from 2009, the current VPPR of ECC Toastmasters Club. And he has attended several meetings virtually starting right from 2016-17 when the online clubs have started in several parts of the world. And he started Pathways even before every one of us because some of that areas, the pathways were rolled before UAE. And professionally, he's a CEO of Invex Accounting and director of an auditor firm. So with that, let us welcome DTM Dharmajan Pateri to tell us about script writing and selection of topic. Welcome, DTM Dharmajan Pateri.
Thank you, Rana, for the nice introduction. Good afternoon, my fellow Toastmasters district team and the best script writers of the future. When you start a Toastmaster journey, there will be a lot of confusion. For me, the script writing was the confusion till I found the 9 decades of experience put into the 9 slides by Toastmaster International in the Better Speaker series. This is very simple. This answers your queries. Where you should look for the topics. There are 2 sources. First one is your personal experience, interest, career, family, education, anything and everything that you know. Sometimes you only know. That is unique apart from the second source, which is the external, which we call reference material, website, books, magazine, newspapers, some of your friends' Facebook posts, anything, everything that comes from outside. So what you need to start when you think about a project, take a paper and start writing it down. If you are a new Toastmaster or trying to find it difficult how to manage a script, it's better you take a pen or pencil and start writing, or open your Word, start typing. Whatever the thoughts, whatever the way it flows, and make sure that you have little bit stories from your past and the reference. What are the kind of speeches you're going to make? That can be a project speech based on the specific objective or international contest speech that should be relevant to the entire universe. There are few things that you should know. Toastmasters say you should know the audience. How many people, what kind of age, what they are familiar with, their education background, what is the common interest and the occasion. unless otherwise you know the occasion, what is the theme, how much time you have, when are you scheduled to speak, who's the speaker before, who's the speaker after, what happened after your speech, because so many people will ask the question. So you should be the expert on the subject. So, and your own abilities. Not every speaker present the speeches in the same way. It varies even if it's the same topic. You have seen in the table topic contest, evaluation contest, different people present differently. This all depend upon your enthusiasm, interest, knowledge base, and the authority you have. And what next? You should be very specific, because audience is more knowledgeable sometimes on the topic, or they may be smarter than you in way of thinking. So it should be very specific enough for the time allotted, and do the sub points, support each main point, and review it again and again, and cut the unwanted things. So at the end, personal experience plus resources plus consideration is an excellent speech topic. Choosing is not so difficult. That is what all you know to write a best speech. So let's see what else I found during my journey. Choosing is not so difficult if you know few things. This is, you should know the purpose. Mostly we classify the speeches into 4 segments: inform, educate, entertain, inspire, or motivate. That's the general purpose, and you find your project objective and select any of these 4 and put your stories into meet the project objective. And if you understand the audience better and you want to entertain them, you will be more effective. You should know what is the benefit they get by listening you. To select a topic, it's important that you talk about something that passionate about, personal experience and reference that we found earlier. So your best script become the best when you meet 3 things: topics you know, topics you love, and topics that your audience might value. And if you find the right mix of this, then your speech will be something useful to someone, and someone will remember for you or basis of that speech. Still, anyone have some doubt? I know I'm going faster, but we will revisit some of these points again. If you have any doubt, you can always raise the hand or show the emo icon. So what are some topics you can discuss in your next script writing? It can be current event, global, or your local one, or something related to your Toastmaster Club, or past events, future events that you may think that will happen, or about the people you know, or you admire, or who changed the world, or who changed your world. Places that you want to visit, or you had visited, or you recommend, or anything, everything related to that destination. Opinion about an event, person, article, book, situation, conflict, habits, or everyday life. What happened to your morning? What happened in the morning? What will happen in the evening? And what you like, what you don't like, food, clothes, people, habits, addictions, how the tough war, what are the products, services, technology, businesses, games that is part of your life, or lesson learned from your own experience in the past. If everything else failed, you have lifeline. Our previous speaker spoke about the mentor. Ask and discuss the script writing issues with your mentor. They will help you, definitely. I would like to code this in every speech writing workshops. Any fool can complicate things. It takes a genius to keep it simple. That is the first part of the presentation. And we will move to the second segment. Before that, if anyone have any query? I think no. So we will move to the next one. Is a small presentation, just to show that how can we make a script writing into a bigger problem. I think this is the right one, right? Can anyone see the screen? Hello?
Yes, we can.
All right. Some issues. All right. So how to write good speeches? It is easier than think, but can be complicated. It's like a good movie. You need all these plot, characters, emotion, twist, memorable moment, good dialogues, themes at the end, value of time for the audience. Is it easy? It is not. But is it possible? As it's possible. You will have 1,000 of thoughts coming when you write the script, but you need to organize. Research the topic, know your audience, and make sure that objectives are in line with what you speak, and structure it right way, and opening, body, conclusion, the sandwich approach, what you make in the speeches, recap, rhetorical device, strong statements, personal belief, call to action. All these are the techniques to drive your main point with subpoints. At the end, you will narrow down it, and your purpose of the speech is not to write a good script. The purpose of speech is to be heard. So when you write, make sure that you also telling yourself, you also presenting those lines, and make sure that it is in a storytelling or a conversational mode. So with the personalizing your stories, put the emotions in your delivery and keeping it simple and using the right words, right grammar will make you to write a better speech. That is my second and the last presentation. Before I share some more points with you, a speech requirements are varied. You need to put vocal variety, eye contact, voice modulation, and movement around the stage. You need to include all these thoughts while you write the script. Organizing is one of the important thing, because it helps audience to understand it better, easier to remember, and give more credibility, and audience will enjoy it more. So as you know, here I see that a lot of people are experienced, not have done at least couple of speeches. So you know that introduction, body, conclusion is the essential part. But some people say, make the opening wonder, make the closing thunder, and put everything in between blunder. But do not put anything blunder in your speech. It's important that you start with the main point, that is body. If you are confused with your opening or closing, that's okay, you will find. Once you finalize your body, main story, and put, if it is a 5 to 7 minute speech, allocate 3 minutes for the core message and build upon one more extra story to make it 4 minutes, and put opening and closing. You will be safer with 6 minute speech, and arrange them in order. Brainstorm, list the key points, If you are typing in the word, it's easier for you to cut and paste to change the order. Then you move and develop an outline. If you develop an outline, whether it's a chronological or a problem solution or even casual way, it will help you to remind the main points and you do not have to memorize the entire script. Fit your content according to one of the outline that you choose and use appropriate transitions. That is very important to make a speech interesting. Develop a closing. It should be a natural progression from the body to closing that complete your message. As we discussed, there are 4 types of speeches. If you are using to inform, summarize your key points. If it is entertaining, end with a climatic laughter. If it is persuade, call for action. If it is to inspire, change the audience feeling, leave them on high. And then go and develop opening. Find something that related to your closing, lead the audience into the topic. And if you choose to inform speech, state some starting facts. If it is humor, get your first laugh within first 30 seconds. If it is to pursue, make the audience aware about the problem. So they will fight for the cause and pursue with their action. If it is to inspire, introduce a philosophy or a belief. Some of you mentioned in the survey that you need a title. I'm reading some of the titles which is used by some of the speakers in the past. Trust is a must, just so lucky, change by a tire, I see something, power of words, outsmarts, outslast. These are not the very, very chosen titles, but these are apt for their speech. So title plays not very big role, but it should be relevant to the content that you choose. So you get a chance to present your regular burger. It's your choice to make a regular burger into super burger, from average speed to a good speech. And if you get a chance, use special techniques, humor, rule of 3, quotation, drama, visual props, anything that possible. Rule of 3 is one of my favorites, using the 3 words in a row: friends, Romans, countrymen, blood, sweat, tears, and you can even mix few sentences. Like we are living in a world, in a whole new world, new economy, new technology, or new job market. These things you should include while you write the script. So make your regular burger or an ultimate super combo burger. Choice is yours if you practice the right script writing techniques. Over to you, MC.
Thanks a lot, DTM Dharmajan Pateri, because script is the beginning of any speech. So, and we normally struggle to find that topic and how to write the script. And once we write the script, and even if we practice, just before the speech, we will be in a very big dilemma, whether to carry my script with me or not. It's very difficult to part with that notes in which we write our script. So to know the techniques to avoid the notes, we have our next education session by a Toastmaster who is in Toastmasters for last 12 years. And he has held several positions like mentor, coach, club president, presently VP membership of ECC, and he's the president of an upcoming new club in Division F. When I asked about his Toastmaster, what makes him stick to Toastmasters, he likes the impromptu speeches. And he has even used that in his life. He went to see 25 girls to finalize his better half. And this speaking on his feet helped him to interview all the girls. So let us welcome DTM Shabil Umar to tell us how to speak without notes. DTM Shabil Umar, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much. Indeed, a pleasure and privilege to share the screen with some beautiful and fantastic people of Division F. Being myself a Toastmaster since 12 years, but 10 years of inactiveness and 2 years of activeness, I can say. I believe my slide is visible to you and I'm audible, right? I want all of you to be active in the chat box, because this is something which is gonna take you, or you can take away something to your children and everybody, because something we have been doing since our school time. Speeches without referring notes. It reminded me of doing some copying in the school time. I was searching for a tagline, then suddenly I happened to see one, and I changed it with my style or the concern with the session today. Speeches are so short, forgetting is so long. I will not say whose quote I changed. Maybe in the last we can share it. I always begin with an icebreaker. So today the icebreaker would be 3 questions. And the first question here comes. Make your typing keyboard or the mod ready to give me the answer. The first is, you need to identify the tune of this poem. And it is this. Inni ukrimukum ajma'ina, inni urahimukum ajma'ina, inni ukrimukum, inni urahimukum ajma'ina, azka tazhidan ya wafidina. Anyone knows the tune? A poem which I studied in my school, still I believe, only because I don't know the single word meaning, but only because of the tone and the tune. And yes, you are right. It is Hum tumhe chahte hain se, an association technique which we used to do in our school time. The second one, could you just list in the order the alkali metals? Go back to your 8th standard, 9th standard chemistry. It is lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium. Also, I want to ask you, in which year Columbus discovered America? Friends, this is the science of mnemonics, association techniques. The first one is with the tune still in our brain. Second one is with an acronym I have put in my brain, and it is Lysoporous-Cepher. Lysoporous-Cepher, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. The group of alkali metals. And the last one, I asked in which year Columbus discovered America. So we say an association way, which is he discovered with a nib, and N is the 14th letter in English alphabet, I, 9, and the B, 2. So 1492 is the year Columbus discovered America. These are the scientific way to approach association techniques, how to practice such informations to feed in our brain. Let's come to the situation. Why do we take notes when we go for a speech? It's very simple. Everyone knows that it's an apprehension that we may forget. And sometimes I do believe in my first speech, it was a sign of shivering and shivering between the legs, and the thoughts were blocked. Ultimately, it was something different case. I mean to say, then after, I started carrying a paper in my hand. Sometimes even I don't look at it, but it gave me the confidence. So maybe we are taking notes due to the lack of confidence. And I have seen many people while evaluating, they hold a paper in their hand, but they don't look at it. I believe it's a belief in their mind. Subconscious mind says that we need something in our hand as a paper jotted down. The third reason why we take notes is very clear. It's nothing but to see the synopsis. So this is a transition, what you have to do. People come for this public speaking and they ask me how to do this. I'll tell in my way, you do 10 speeches by just reading the complete script. After 10 speeches, only before that only, you will get bored. So what you will do? Thereafter, you will start preparing synopsis and the bullet points. After doing 10 speeches in that way, you will again get bored. What you will do? You will start to associate with the things around you. And that is a transition. And I believe this will take 30 speeches minimum, I can say, sorry, maximum. Minimum, it depends on your preparation and your capacity. And these three reasons why we are taking notes. The first one, the apprehension and the lack of confidence. To come out of this problem, let's think about a perception behind speaking without notes. Maybe that perception of people and the public will take your apprehension and lack of confidence so as to deliver the speech without looking at the notes. And I believe, what are these perception behind speaking without notes? The first is, speaker is knowledgeable. When people feel like, yes, he is not looking at the notes, he is knowledgeable. He cares or she cares the audience because the eye contact is never going to the paper. The perception is he is prepared, means he has done homework before coming. Yes, there will be no potential gap credibility between the audience and the speaker. There will be no losing of eye contact, and everyone will never have a perception that he's least professional. So that is something, the perception behind speaking without notes will take away the two mental thought process like apprehension and the lack of confidence. Now, the third one, I said, literally, we need to look at the synopsis, not to deliver a speech. It's nothing but we have this problem, we forget. Now, the concept, how to change this mode, why we forget seems to depend on how a memory is stored in the brain. Now, if you ask me to recite the English poem that we studied in school, written by William Wordsworth, we all studied, or Shakespeare, I may not be able to do, because I stored in a different way that I am not able to recollect it. Whereas a language which I can't express myself, Arabic, I can sing this poem. Since 4th standard I am doing it, it's only because of the method of storing it in my brain. Now, this is something which I always believe we need to give more emphasis and more support for the brain, or we need to love more this body part. Why? Because its storage capacity between 3 terabytes and 1000 terabytes. It generates 25 watts of power, enough to power a light bulb. Information can fly around your brain at 260 meters per hour. What does it mean? It means that we feel like, brain is something we have it, and there are a lot of myths about it. Now, how can we change the method of storing, or how do we place these informations in the brain? Let's take the concept of public speaking or our presentations, and we take it into 3 areas: before the presentation, during the presentation, and after the presentation. Before the presentation, I believe script memorizing. During, connections with the crowd, no mistakes but omissions, and after, brain exercise. What is memorable script? That is before. You need to focus on optimism, positiveness. Be positive first. Forget about everything else. You need to be positive. Think about the main point. Okay. Now the tall tale speaker also started from a main point. The other speakers, mentor speaker, and also the script, everybody started from a main point. And hence they can get a title, a phrase, which can be used throughout the speech. Outline the speech with a story, your personal experience, humor, the rule 3, which you all know, which I'm not going in depth. Outline it completely so you know the order with the story and the rule of 3. Practice, stick to script, but not to perfect. Don't feel like I need to be perfect. No, you can, but try for it. You can do this with a memory palace, and that is nothing but you need to have it during the time, the USP, your unique speech proposition. That is nothing but connection between you and audience. You need to have a connection between your head, your heart, and your hand. Means the gestures, your eye contact, and your words. Believe me, no mistakes you're doing in a speech. It's only omissions. Find and kindle your USP. What are they? I can say this is the memory palace with mnemonics. The mind mapping, the picture, the figures of speech you can see on the screen, associating visual imagery, figures of speech like triads, alliteration, mind mapping, timeline. By looking at this photograph, you can speak 1 hour, 2 hours, because it is about Alan Kurdi, the Syrian boy, and the Turkish journalist and photographer who took this. I believe after, do the exercise with the brain, and that is nothing but mind mapping, which gives you more experience on your brain. Yes, table topic, which we are doing. Just try to forget. Why I'm saying, many people ask me this question. When you try to forget, you're indirectly trying to remember. So always do that. And reverse cues. All this gives your brain a lot of exercises. And I believe mind mapping, table topic, and all this, just trying to forget or reverse cues will give more exercise to your brain. Now, just before I wind up, initially I said about a poem. Do you remember that at least one word from that poem which I recited in Arabic? Okay, keep it with you. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. The question is, which is the group these all elements belongs to? Which is the group? The last one. In 1492, who discovered America?
Columbus.
Yes. So this is something, never feel that we are going in one line, one path. You have to take the same path. No. Sometimes the vehicle will be opposite side as well. So brain is having a lot of connections in every way, 360 degree. So when you do it, play with it. Now, maybe I'm talking about a session, and maybe you will be thinking, why I'm using a presentation when I'm talking about something which should not be used in a presentation. That is, not to refer notes while doing speeches. And in that presentation, I used a PPT presentation. You know why? Simply, I want to do a session or a speech without referring notes. So there are ways, the last one, when you can't find the way, you can make the way. where you interpret your way. And I believe notes is something you're visualizing. To that extent, you have to develop your thought process. And that is one reason I started my journey in Toastmasters. And believe me, I am the right person to do this session, because after many project speeches, I started preparing. And really, I want to show you, this was my last speech, wherein it is completely with notes. Only bullet points and things, which mean to say that we should be a prepared speaker, a prepared presenter, and that will talk about it. Thank you very much for this awesome opportunity that you had showered at this point of time. Thank you very much. Good night. Over to you, the MC.
Thanks a lot, DTM Shabil Umar. That was indeed a good session with a lot of new learnings, how we can speak without referring to our notes. Now, all the attendees can use the chat box to post any queries to the presenters. And did you all enjoy today's session? Did you learn something? So please use the chat box, post your questions so they will try to answer. And before we close, I would like to thank the Division F Director, DTM Deepa Surendran, and Division F PQD and Division F Director-elect DTM Dinesh for this opportunity, for these sessions, which will give us, because you may think some topics we already know, we had heard several education sessions like on mentoring or an evaluation and on script writing, but every time we have something to learn. Every Toastmaster meeting or every education session, we are learning at least a new thing. And as our SAA mentioned in the beginning, that gives an opportunity to keep us learning, and that gives us an opportunity to keep us growing. I would like to thank also SAA and Timer, Toastmaster Dinesh, and our Zoom Master, Toastmaster Dean, our Division VPPR Toastmaster Lini for that wonderful flyers and the agenda. And also all our 4 presenters, Toastmaster Ashish for the session on tall tales, Toastmaster Manasi on mentoring, Toastmaster Dharmajan on the script, and distinguished Toastmaster Shabil on how to speak without using notes. And last but not the least, thanks a lot all the attendees today. You made this session successful, because your presence is the most valuable for today's session. With this note, I declare this meeting is closed. We will announce the next session soon. Thanks a lot. Good night.
அவங்களும் கால் பண்ணிட்டு நீங்க கால் பண்ணதே இல்லையோ? என்ன சொன்னாங்க?